Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome back to another video. My name is Tawanda and this is Tawanda's Blessed Life. And on my channel, I do decorating on a budget, DIYs, and hauls with a sprinkle of migraine enlightenment. I also do sister lock updates and lifestyle updates. So if that is something that you are interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to join my YouTube family. And so today is a collaboration with my sweet friend Melinda at the Crafty Doll, and we will be creating some framed art DIYs for you all today. So I will be creating 5 framed art pieces to go in my hallway for my hallway remodel. And so we're going to go ahead and get started with today's video. For this DIY, I have some Waverly antique wax. I have a picture frame, I have a doily, I have a piece of scrapbook paper, and then I also have that blue packing paper. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and take the picture out of the frame, and then I'm going to go ahead and clean the glass. Once I have that complete, I'm deciding which paper I want to use. If I want to use the scrapbook paper or if I want to use the packing paper. So I ended up using the packing paper, and then I also ended up using a smaller doily. And so here I am doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my packing paper to size, and then I'm going to place the packing paper and the frame, because I want to keep that frame that came with that picture. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to place the doily inside of my picture frame, and then I am going to give it a light coat of the Waverly antique wax, and that is going to be it for this DIY. I love the way that all of these turned out. And I was so excited to have this as my monthly collaboration with my sweet friend Melinda, because doilies are like one of my favorite things to use around my house, and so are picture frames. And I had already decided that I wanted to create some artwork to create a gallery wall in our hallway, because we are going to be doing a hallway refresh, and I wanted to create some artwork for it. And we stayed at the Amish Hotel in Sarasota. It's called the Carlisles. And they had this beautiful artwork where they used these quilts and picture frames. And I actually tried to go to the quilt store, but it was closed. So I think that when we go back in July, I'm going to purchase some of the little fat quarters. But I decided, well, you know, I have a lot of doilies and I use them all around my house. So why not frame some of my favorite ones? And so that is what I did. But the inspiration came from the Amish Hotel with the quilts, and I love the way that all of these turned out, and I cannot wait to display these in my hallway, because like I said, my favorite things to pick up from the thrift store are frames and doilies. And I hope that I will give you some inspiration to use some of your favorite finds to create some artwork on your walls. I have this frame. It doesn't have a backing or glass, but I will show you how I'm going to fix that. I have that heart doily, my scrapbook paper, my blue packing paper, and I also have that picture frame that came from Walmart. I've had that for some years now, and I will also be using some of the midnight blue paint. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to paint my frame with the midnight blue paint. I actually ended up giving it a total of 4 coats. I also gave it a coat of the clear wax. I did not do that on camera. So let's talk about my sweet friend Melinda at the Crafty Doll. On her channel, she radiates positivity and enthusiasm. And if you like glam with a touch of rustic and farmhouse, you're going to love her channel. Not only does she create beautiful DIYs, she also does it on a budget. Melinda also has a second channel, All Things Home on a Budget, where she decorates with the items that she creates. She also does budget-friendly hauls and cooking. And if that is something that you're interested in, go ahead and click on the link in my description box and join her YouTube family. And this is what my frame looks like after the paint. So what I did was I went ahead and cut some of the foam board, because like I said, it did not have a backing piece. And then I went ahead and cut out my scrapbook paper to the sizes that I needed. So I'm going to start off by taking the blue packing paper, and I'm going to use my glue stick to adhere it to the foam board. And then I'm going to put the scrapbook paper on top. So the reason why I did it this way was because I had a little bit of a gap, because I didn't have a large enough piece of scrapbook paper, so that when you did look into the frame, you would just see that it was just blue. So I thought that was, and you can barely see the blue, but it's just a small line of it. And so here I am. This is how I'm going to fix my problem with me not having a frame. Is I'm going to take that glass out of the Walmart frame and put it inside of my frame that I'm going to be using for this DIY. And that is a really neat hack that you can use if you have old picture frames and you want to use a frame that you really like and it doesn't have a piece of glass. Just take the glass out of another frame to be able to use that picture frame. So here I am just trying to get my heart shape placed like I want it. I will say I did have to go back and add a couple of pieces of tape, of the double-sided tape, to hold my heart in place because it did move over to the side when I flipped it back over. And so I also use some of this tape to tape in my foam board so that it will hold everything in place. And you'll see here shortly that before I ended up putting the double-sided tape on my heart, when I flipped it over, it slid over to the other side. So I went back and fixed that. And that is going to be it for this DIY. The only thing I have to do now is I need to go out in my shed to find all of my little hooks to attach to the back of my frames to be able to place them on my walls. But yeah, I love the way that all of these DIYs turned out. So you'll have to let me know what you think and which one is your favorite. And for this DIY, I have some Wavy Antique Wax. I also have the Deco Art Walnut Wood Tint. And then I have another picture frame, another doily. And then I am going to use, I believe I'm only going to use the the blue packing paper for this DIY. So I'm going to start off by removing the old backing and the needle point that was inside of the frame. And then I'm going to go ahead and get it all cleaned. And then I am going to take the walnut wood stain and I'm going to give it a coat on top of my frame. This was my first time actually using this wood tint, so it was a learning curve. But after reading the instructions, I basically found out that if you want it darker, you'll put your first coat on and then you'll let that dry, and then you'll go back and add another coat, and you'll just continue to add the coats until you get the color that you want. So I'm only going to give it, I believe I gave it 2 coats because I didn't want it to be darker than what my frame was already. And so once I did that, I put it aside and I let it dry, and then I moved on to creating my picture. So here I am just going to go ahead and just use that the original mat that came with the frame to trace out the blue backing that I'm going to use. And after I got it all put together, I decided that I didn't really like the way that it looked. So I'll go ahead and just show you all how I had it, and then I'm going to move on to how I redid it. So I ended up not liking the blue paper with this one, so I ended up taking that apart, and then here I am I'm going to go ahead and use my scrapbook paper, and I actually use this one sheet of scrapbook paper to do all of the DIYs that I created that have the scrapbook paper on it. And so I'm going to go ahead and just cut that to size. I'm going to attach the scrapbook paper to the backing with some of the double-sided tape. And then once I have that complete, I'm going to go ahead and add my doily. I'm going to use a couple pieces of the double-sided tape to attach it to the scrapbook paper, place everything back in the frame, and that is going to be it for this DIY. I love the way that these all turned out. And I'd like to take the time out to thank you all for spending part of your Wednesday with me. I do really appreciate you all taking time out of your schedule to come and watch my videos. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for continuing to support my channel. I really do appreciate it. And we are moving right along. So I have this frame. I went ahead and just took a picture of it to show you all what it looked like before I painted it with the midnight blue paint. And I went ahead and gave it a coat of the midnight blue paint. And all I'm going to do is take the glass out. I went ahead and cleaned everything. I'm going to add a piece of that scrapbook paper. And then I'm going to add my doily, place the backing back onto the frame. And that is going to be it for this DIY. We are moving right along to our last and final DIY for today. I went ahead and cut out my oval shape from the packing paper. I have some of the Deco Art linen paint. This is my first time using that paint. I went ahead and took the picture out of this frame. And so what I'm going to do is give the frame a coat. I gave it 2 coats of the linen paint, but I've been looking at it and I think I'm going to have to give it a 3rd coat because it does look a little bit blotchy. I thought I was going to be able to just use this frame. I gave it a good cleaning, but it really needed some touch up. And so I'm also going to be using a doily for this DIY along with that last little bit of scrapbook paper that I have. And I have that little tag there, that little gift tag. I went ahead and gave it 2 coats of the linen paint also. So I'm going to go ahead and take my stamp here. It says handmade with love, and I'm going to stamp my little gift tag here. And then once I have that complete, I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of that scrapbook paper, and I'm going to glue the tag onto the scrapbook paper. This is what it is currently looking like. I'm going to go ahead and take my doily so I can try and get proper placement on how I'm going to place this in the frame. And so here I think I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and start to assemble. So I'm going to place my gift tag at the bottom and then also place my doily. And then I'm going to put the blue paperback at the back. And then I'm going to put the original picture that came with this frame back in it also. And that is going to be it for this DIY. And I did actually end up going back and adding a strip of a small section of the double-sided tape to hold the gift tag on, because it did kind of like move over to the side. And after I did that, I gave it 2 coats of the plaster paint just to make sure that it looked clean and that it didn't have any more of the blotchy spots. And then I had ended up painting over the gold that was on the rim of the frame. So I went ahead and took some of the antique gold ribbon buff and applied it to the rim. And that is going to be it for this DIY. That's it for today's video. Please go ahead and click on the link to watch my lovely friend Melinda at the Crafty Doll. I have the link to her video and the link to her channel in my description box. And if you like what I'm doing, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And like I always say, be nicer, be kinder. God will love you for it. And I hope you have a blessed day. And I will see you on Sunday. Goodbye.